Welcome to the video for measuring exercise intensity for the BTEC Award Unit 1. So this is your first question. What methods can you use to measure exercise intensity? Put your answer on a piece of paper and pause the video before moving on. I'm going to move on to the answer. And the answers are there. Measuring heart rate is quite an easy one. That's there. Using a heart rate monitor, so you strap the heart rate monitor around your chest and use a watch to record the your heart rate, and using the rating of perceived exertion scale, or the RPE scale. Hopefully you got those three. If you didn't get those three, then with most of the videos I've said to do a little look, say, cover right check exercise. Try and do that again with this one until you get them all correct. And then you can move on. So the next question is, how do you calculate your maximum heart rate? Now, one way to do that is obviously exercising until you faint, until you can't exercise anymore. And that would be your maximum heart rate. But there's a much easier equation you can use. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to come up with that equation. Pause the video while you write down that equation for me, please. And there it is. So your maximum heart rate equals 220 minus your age. So let's say if you were 20 years old, it's a nice easy equation. 220 minus 20 equals 200. So an estimate of your maximum heart rate would be 200 if you were 20 years old. We're going to move to the next little bit about actually measuring your heart rate now. So at rest, the best place to measure your heart rate is called the radial artery. And the radial artery is the one that's in your wrist. Put a little picture here about how you go about doing it. And basically what you do is you sit down to make sure you're not standing up, which would increase your heart rate. You sit down and rest. You locate your radial artery by replacing your index finger and your middle finger towards the thumb side of your wrist. You wouldn't use your thumb because your thumb's actually got a pulse in it from your heart, and that would sort of affect the results that you would get. You would count the beats for 1 minute and then record that as your maximum heart rate, and then the measurement of that would be beats per minute. If you want to read that again, then obviously, or you want to listen to it again, you can obviously record it, rewind it back, listen to it again, or you can just pause the video and just read the information yourself. That's totally up to you. Right, so I've got another question for you now. What are your heart rate training zones? So you've got a zone where hopefully you would train in between to improve your fitness, and I want to know what that training zone is. Pause the video while you write that down, please. And here it is. So your lower training zone is 60% of your maximum heart rate, and your upper training zone is 85% of your maximum heart rate. So your heart rate training zone is 60 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. Right, so putting all the sort of little bits of information we've got together there now, how would you actually work out somebody's training zone based on their maximum heart rate? So first of all, you'd have to use the equation to find out their maximum heart rate, which is 220 minus age. You would then, to work out their lower training zone, you'd times that number by 0.6. You would then use the same number from the equation 220 minus age, you would times that by 0.85 to find their upper training zone. That would give you their lower and upper training zone, and you'd be able to work out their heart rate when that they should keep when they are training. Right, I think the last question really for you to answer today. What is the rating of perceived exertion scale, and how do you use it? Really important one. So what is the RPE and how do you use it? Pause the video, write down as much information on the RPE as you can, and then continue on for the answers onto the next slide. So you are, the RPE is in the picture just here. This is the RPE. Essentially it's a scale from 6 to 20 down at the bottom. 6 is you're not doing anything at all, and 20 is you're working at the absolute maximum. And then as you can see, some of the things in between have ratings as well in terms of words. It's developed by a Professor Gunnar Borg in 1970, which is a little bit of interesting information there for you to remember. And essentially you'd use it to rate how hard you were working. So I might say, right, I'm going to work at 11 light. So I'd then try and always think about working at light intensity and think that that's the intensity that I'm going to work at. Now, to try and relate RPE back to your heart rate, basically to work out your heart rate based on your RPE, all you would do is, say I was working at light, which is 11, I would just times that by 10. So when I'm working at light, which is 11, my heart rate should be 110 beats per minute. Quite an easy equation there, so you should be able to do that without any problems. Right, quite a short video, but a lot of information in there, so I would suggest that you have a little rest, go and do something else, even maybe try and put down all the information that you've covered in this video onto a piece of paper now without looking, and see how you get on. If you don't get on too well, then try and do the whole video again and see if you can do the video perfectly, bit by bit. The second thing you should try and do is attempt to work out the training zones for people you know. Examples of this could be friends, parents, grandparents, anybody you live with, anything really. And then the last thing you could do is try to complete one of the other videos that are available for your revision and try and master that one as well. Good luck with the rest of your revision.